Since early 2011, when Canon first announced it, the entry level of the Canon Rebel DSLR lineup has been defined by the 12.2 megapixel Canon EOS Rebel T5. Now, there's a new entry-level camera that delivers 18 megapixel images and 1080p video, and it's called the T5. Hi, I'm Larry Becker. Brand new in 2014, Canon's entry-level EOS Rebel T5 puts even more resolution and an updated modern feature set in an entry-level price point of the Canon DSLR lineup. It has an 18 megapixel CMOS sensor and a DIGIC 4 image processor. And that combination means that you'll be able to capture burst rate photos at 3 frames a second, and your 1080p video can be captured at 24 or 30 frames a second. It's got a nice 9-point autofocus system, but only the center autofocus point is a cross-type sensor. So while it's quick, it's not quite as fast as a hybrid autofocus system would be. And the ISO range goes from 100 to 6400, and it can be boosted up to 12,800. It's small and lightweight, but not really as compact as the SL1 is. The grip feels good and all of the controls feel just right. And with average size hands, it's comfortable to hold without accidentally pressing any buttons. The placement of all the control dials and buttons makes sense. The cross keys have a good feel and they're easy to use. And there are graphics printed on all the buttons to help you quickly jump to various functions without going to the menus. While we're talking about ergonomics, I should mention that the T5 has a nice 3-inch LCD screen, but it's not a touchscreen. It's also fixed, so it's not going to twist or tilt. I really like Canon's shooting settings screen because so much helpful information is graphically displayed. And because of Canon's quick control button, we call it the Q button, you can change the settings right there without a trip to the menus. Pressing the display button turns the screen on or off, so you can have the shooting settings displayed or not. Putting this camera at the entry position of Canon's Rebel lineup doesn't mean low resolution or lower quality when it comes to the images themselves. The EOS Rebel T5 delivers high-quality 18 megapixel images. And something that people who are moving up from a point-and-shoot camera need to know is that megapixels are only part of what makes an image great. The sensor's physical size plays a big role, and larger sensors will almost always give you much better image quality and sharpness. As a general rule, an APS-C size sensor, like what's in the T5, is 6 to 8 times bigger than a typical point-and-shoot sensor, even if they both have the same megapixels. Images captured with the T5 are color accurate and beautiful, and there's even enough detail for large format prints. Another thing that helps a camera like this T5 capture such great images is a good lens. The 18 to 55 mm f3.5 to 5.6 IS2 image stabilized kit lens that comes with this camera is a good start. It's equivalent to a 35 mm format lens with a 29 to 88 mm zoom range. It's easy to use, small enough to be manageable, and it's versatile. Because of the plastic construction, it does feel a little like an entry-level lens, but the controls are all good and the glass quality delivers good images. It can be focused automatically or manually, and the only thing I found to be a little bit uncomfortable is that the manual focus ring is right up by the lens filter ring, and it feels a little strange turning a focus ring that moves forward and back while you dial in focus. Still, this lens is a nice place to start, and later you can add from a selection of countless EF mount lenses for even greater zoom, wider angles, wide aperture low light performance, and more. In fact, while this DSLR is targeted at first-time DSLR users, most settings pros might want are available. The mode dial has manual modes used by more advanced shooters. Canon calls these the creative modes, and that includes programmed auto, shutter priority, aperture priority, and full manual mode. And for novices, there's a full auto mode, full auto with no flash, and scene-specific setups Canon calls image zone modes so that people can tell the camera to set itself up for portraits, landscapes, close-ups, sports, and night portraits. The two modes I haven't mentioned are the dedicated movie mode and the creative auto mode. The T5 can capture 1080p videos at 30 frames a second, and that's a big step up from the T3 resolution. But since there's no mic jack, and since you can't adjust things like aperture and shutter speed during filming, videos from the T5 will probably be for capturing family fun. I kind of wish there was a dedicated movie record button so you could shoot video from any mode dial position, but that's not really a big deal. One video feature that's kind of a big deal is Canon's video snapshot mode. You can capture a collection of 2-second, 4-second, or 8-second video clips. And as you shoot each clip, it gets added to the collection. Then you play back your clips, Canon calls a clip collection an album, and you get a nice video that captures the mood of an event or a trip. A minute ago, I mentioned Creative Auto Mode as one of the basic shooting modes on the shooting mode dial. This is actually really clever, and it's perfect for helping people who haven't taken camera classes, but who know what look they're shooting for. Here's what I mean. If you're new to DSLR cameras and you know you want a picture with a fuzzy background, you don't need to understand the aperture settings that get you there. You just turn the mode dial to CA, press the Q button to change the settings on your display, highlight where it says background blur, and then turn the main dial to make the background sharper or blurrier. Creative Auto also has a list of choices for ambiance, so you can control the mood or quality of light in your images by selecting a preset. Again, you do all this without camera classes. Beginners will get the results they want more easily. One last feature I really like is how Canon handles ISO. That's a setting for how sensitive the image sensor is to light. Beginners will like that they can just put it in auto ISO, and as they learn, they can take manual control over ISO in the creative zone shooting mode dial positions. The thing I like is that direct access to the ISO and turning auto ISO on and off is easily accessible. That isn't always the case with some competing cameras, and Canon has done ISO the right way. Canon's latest entry-level DSLR, the EOS Rebel T5, does a nice job of stepping up from the T3 with good quality and ease of use at an entry-level price point. For B&H and Kelby One, I'm Larry Becker. Thanks for watching.
Whether you're a hobbyist or a professional, B&H has the answers to your questions. Experience a world of technology at our New York City Superstore. Connect with us online or give us a call. Our staff of experts is happy to help.
Scott Kelby here, and welcome to this quick tour of our online training. We have hundreds of online classes for you, covering everything from lighting to landscape photography. From portrait photography to sports, we have classes on wedding, automotive photography, shooting, food, fashion, travel, you name it. The most incredible part of this is the price. You get all of this for just $199 a year, or you can pay monthly for just $24.95. 24-hour a day, 7-day a week access from anywhere in the world. I invite you to join with us today and start learning right now.